Hi, my name is Maria Cristina Torres, and for my Reality Bytes project, I chose the nature of relationships. The nature of relationships is a very interesting topic to me because I mainly thought that the nature of relationship was mainly just romantic relationships, but I was surprised to learn that it also includes family relationships, professional relationships, and as well as friendships. And the artifact that I chose is a web article and image from MindHelp titled Relationships. First, before we can even delve deeper into the artifact itself, we do need to discuss the nature of relationships. So, the nature of relationships, it is mentioned in the course textbook in chapter 8. It explains the concept of the nature of relationships, basically, what is a relationship, and it also lists these characteristics that are important in a relationship. Those are six characteristics. Those are duration, contact frequency, sharing, support, interaction variability, and goals. Each one of these is very important just because it helps kind of with the foundation and building a relationship, basically. So, taking a further look into that, we would take a look at the first one, which is duration, which is the length of the relationship. The duration of the relationship can play a part in whether the partners are happy in the relationship and want to continue being in the relationship, or if they decide it's better to just terminate the relationship and um, split amicably. And it is common to hear these days of people being more in a short term relationship and choosing to end it versus trying to work through the issues and have it continue. The second characteristic is contact frequency, which is how many times and how often a person communicates with their partner. So it is important to make sure to have uh, pretty frequent contact with your partner, whether it be verbally, physically, um, and how often it is. So even if it's just a few times a day, as long as there's constant contact between the partners, that definitely does help. Uh, and I believe that communication and contact frequency is the most important because both of these help those that are in the relationship to know more about their partners, find common interests or dislikes, and to create a meaningful connection and relationship. The third characteristic is sharing, which is the exchange of information. So when we are comfortable in the relationship, the more we are willing to share information or to self disclose information about ourselves to our partners. And by sharing information, it does provide a closer connection to a person's partner and helps create a stronger foundation for the relationship itself. The fourth characteristic is support, which is help or aid that a person gives to their partner, providing a partner with support when they're experiencing an issue or a difficult time. It is very important to and can even determine the duration of the relationship itself. The fifth characteristic is interaction variability, which is the variety of interactions that we have with our partners. They can vary between interaction between common interests, or if the partners live together, maybe the home life, their work lives, and that environment as well can also play a part. And the interaction variability works closely with the sharing characteristic as well to create more communication between the partners. The sixth and final characteristic is goals, which is the end result that those that are in the relationship want to achieve, whether they're long term goals such as being together and dating for a few years, then getting engaged, then getting married, and having kids, or they could possibly have professional goals such as to climb up higher in whatever position they're in, or to have a more formal career. The goals can vary for each couple, And overall, each of these characteristics plays a crucial role in the nature of the relationship. Next, we'll see how the artifact that I selected relates to the nature of the relationship. Like I mentioned earlier, the artifact that I chose was the article, as well as this image that you can see here that is also included in the article, which shows the four different types of relationships that a person can have throughout their lives, which are family relationships, such as relationships with our parents, grandparents, siblings, uh, aunts, uncles, cousins. So basically, any branch of our family tree, there's a relationship there. Friendships, so the friendships that we have when we're growing up, all the way even up to adulthood. Romantic relationships, which is the basically the more common one that everyone thinks about when they talk about the word relationship. And professional relationships, which are the more formal relationships that a person has, either in a formal setting, such as college, university, or in the workplace, if the person has a career. And then in the artifact itself, it does explain how these factors contributes to a successful and healthy relationship, and how it also helps create significance in the relationship for those that are involved, making sure that the connection that they have is a strong one and one that's meaningful to both of them. And in the artifact is also mentioned the 7 factors that can affect relationships. They are communication, compatibility, time, calmness, honesty, forgiveness, and respect and trust. And those also play a part into the 4 different types of relationships that a person can have. So next we're going to look at the 7 factors that can affect relationships. The first one is communication, which is how partners communicate with each other and how often. Uh, this is one of the more important factors, I would say, that can make or break a relationship. Um, and Most times, when you hear about a couple that's having issues or they're going through a rough time, the main issue that they'll point out is either not enough communication or a lack of communication. So it is good to make sure that there is constant communication between the partners, primarily more if it's physical and in person versus electronically, like over the phone. And the second factor is compatibility, which is how compatible or similar the partners are. Many relationships begin because of compatibility between the partners, such as similar upbringings, values, interests, hobbies, um, maybe common friends sometimes. And that also helps those that are in the relationship to feel more comfortable with their partner. The third characteristic is time, which means how long and how often partners spend quality time together. It is really important to set aside time in a relationship to spend quality time with a partner. Um, Time that's dedicated just to you and your partner, and not to anything else such as work or school or family. Just you and the partner. It The fourth factor is calmness, which is how the partner is able to remain calm in a difficult or stressful situation. So it is important to be able to remain calm and composed when a partner or their partner is in a difficult situation. So it is good to learn how to remain calm, just because if it is a really difficult situation for that person or the partner, it can affect possibly the duration of the relationship, or maybe even more than that. Um, the fifth factor is honesty, which is how honest a partner is. And mainly, when asked, couples would say that honesty is the primary factor that can affect the relationship and trust between a partner. The sixth characteristic is forgiveness, which is how partners are able to be forgiving to their partner when an issue arises. And if there is ever a difficult situation and where there is a lack of communication or trust, um, we have to learn and try to get to the point of forgiveness so that the relationship can continue, or if not, that we can go ahead and end the relationship itself. And the seventh and last factor is respect and trust, which is how partners show respect to their partners and instill trust in each other and in the relationship. Each of these factors work closely together to help create a successful and healthy relationship. And after taking a look at those seven factors, we would go ahead and take a look back again at the four different types of relationships that we discussed earlier. Those are also shown in the artifact itself. Again, those are family relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, and professional relationships. And it is explained in the article that mainly each one of these is primarily in a different point of our lives, or it starts in a different point of our lives. So, family relationships would be more the main one we'll get to experience early on in our lives, just because when we are born and we're young kids, we are having a much closer relationship with our parents, siblings, grandparents, any sort of family connection that we have there. That would be the main one we would experience first. And then as we get older and we start to enter into our school years and our young childhood, we would begin to build friendships with classmates or kids that have similar interests with us or that we know. And then as we get older and we get into early adulthood and adolescence, um, and then get to early adulthood, we would mainly start having romantic relationships. Sometimes mainly just casual relationships like boyfriend girlfriend for a while. And then as we get older, it can develop into a romantic relationship where it could lead to engagement, marriage, having children, and that would mainly happen in the adulthood part, as well as professional relationships. Since once a person gets to university or college and starts their career, they'll start to have and form professional relationships with their coworkers, their managers, and upper level management. Um, and the artifact does tie into the concept itself just because it does incorporate the same principles as the six characteristics we discussed earlier. Um, However, it also adds upon that so that there is ones that, so that mainly the six characteristics are how it begins and forms, and the factors are the ones that once the relationship is established, what can affect it in either a positive or negative way. The artifact itself also does give more information as to what affects a relationship and how to make it better. And after going through the article and this topic and in the course chapter, I did think of some thought provoking questions that I thought would be very interesting to share and see if we can grow more upon this subject. One of them being what factors and characteristics should be considered when evaluating the nature of a relationship. If there's any more on top of the ones we've already discussed that should also be considered there as well, that could be very beneficial either to the relationship itself or in a specific stage of life of a person. And the other one, which is which factor or characteristic is the most important in each relationship type. So, in the family relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, and professional relationships, which of those characteristics or factors are the more important one in each one, or which one is valued more? And if you have any questions, just please let me know, and thank you very much.